Across the fantasy works, dragons are equally revered as they are despised. They have variegated descriptions, but they are magnificent nonetheless. So today in this video, we will look into the dragons from the Witcher universe. So let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to Care Fiction. I'm your host Subhankar, and today we will explore the dragon lore of the Witcher universe. Before we get started, I'm taking into account all the source materials and the Netflix TV series, but not the video games. So this goes for all the books, the various publications, the tabletop RPGs, and the recent Netflix series, as they are depicted in a similar manner. So with that said, let's begin. Without any doubt, dragons are awe-inspiring creatures. They are vicious, intelligent, and not to mention the stuff of abilities they possess, like breathing fire. Often in many fantasy works, they are depicted as some kind of fabled and legendary creatures. So this results in a part down exposition, with which I am totally fine with. So this goes the same for the Witcher universe as well. For your convenience, I have distilled down everything into 3 sections. Number 1, background. Number 2, the types of dragons. And number 3, perception among cultures. Let us look at the background of the dragons. So not much is known about the origin of the dragons in the Witcherverse, but this actually goes the same for all other monsters as well. That is, they have appeared after the conjunction of the spheres. So I believe that the dragons have been in existence before the conjunction and maybe even much longer than that. Regardless, they represent the forces of chaos. So what is chaos now? Well, chaos is a big thing in the Witcherverse, and for which it requires a separate video for itself as well. But the shorter version of this is that chaos is a power or a force, and that magic in the Witcherverse is used by harnessing the chaos. And the opposite of chaos is, as you might have guessed by now, order. Dragons are known to absorb magical energy, so which makes them impervious to certain magical spells. Now, as I have mentioned before, that most of the history of the dragons have been passed on to generations in the form of written documents and ballads. So nothing is certain about the present population of the dragons, and many, in fact, Geralt even mentions that they are a rare species as they have been hunted down. But while a few others like Borch tree jackdaws mentions that there are huge swarms of dragons in some mountains in some part of the continent in which the humans have never ventured into. But why go after such formidable creatures? Because of the vast treasure they hoard, and also they are a source of rare alchemical substances. So that is all that there is about the background of the dragons. Now let's get into the types of dragons. Again, I have divided this section into 3 subsections: appearance, habitat, and abilities. Well, basically there are 2 types of dragons. The true dragons and the other dragons. The true dragons are the ones which are known to men, while the other dragons are the ones which are fabled. And also the dragons in the Witcherverse are classified based on their colors. Now take a look at this excerpt from the chapter The Bounds of Reason, which can be found in the Witcher short story Sword of Destiny. So as spoken by Geralt, so there are basically 4 types of true dragons. Now let's dive into each of them. So firstly we have the green dragons. So the green dragons are the most abundant species among the dragons. They inhabit the forests and the wilderness, and they are also the smallest among the dragons. Their color usually varies from greenish to grayish, and they breathe toxic chlorine gas. 2 known green dragons are Mirk the Brake, hope I'm not butchering the name here, and Sasynthesis. And you have actually seen these 2 dragons in the Netflix series in the episode titled Rare Species. And fun fact, Sacinthesis is the daughter of Mictapake. Up next, we have the red dragons. So the red dragons live in the caves in mountains and hills. They breathe hot fire and they can reach up to a length of about 15 meters, and their scales are stained reddish. Some known specimens are Celtulus and Ogfist. Ogfist was a legendary albino red dragon who lived in the Quartz Mountain, and he was presumably bested by Yarpen Jigrin and his band of 6 dwarves, whom we also see in the Netflix TV series. Ogvist was an ancient dragon, and the legend had it that he had been alive for at least 1,000,000 years. Then there are the black dragons, who are the largest and the most invulnerable among the species. They live mainly in swamps and wetlands, and they can spit streams of acid. There is a deity in Jericania called Baal Jebut, whose avatar was believed to be a female black dragon. More about him in the next section. Besides this, the Greenfield rivers are also known to have killed 3 red dragons and 1 black dragon. And finally, we have the white dragons. They are the rarest subspecies among the dragons, and they are found in the far north of the continent. The average specimen is 10 meters long, and they can breathe a web of frost. All the 4 mentioned dragon subspecies use telepathy as a form of communication. Moving on to the other type of dragons, we have the golden dragon. Now let's start with a few lines from the book Sword of Destiny. So golden dragons are believed to be mythical, and so is Phoenix. I will talk about the involvement of Phoenix in the dragon lore in the next section. Golden dragons, which are believed to be fabled, are very much alive and existing in the Witcherverse. And perhaps the most famous among the golden dragons is villain Trattermirth. So golden dragons, aside from having the usual abilities and breathing fire, they also have a unique ability to polymorph, as in the case of Bord's 3 jackdaws. And here's a fun fact for you. The word villain Trattermirth means 3 black birds in common speech. Another well-known legendary golden dragon is Jericanternment. And finally, another type of dragon, which is not a true dragon, are the rock dragons. Where the rock dragons can be found in the dry, rocky and stony areas, and their largest specimens can reach about 5 meters in length. In the next section, we will look into the perception of dragons among the cultures. In the eastern realms of the continent, like Harkland and Jericania, there are entire religions which are based upon divine dragons. While on the other hand, in the northern kingdoms, like Nilfgaard and other northern realms, the dragons are considered to be destroyer and a bane to the humankind. Let's focus on Jericania. Jericanians like Tia and Via, whom we have also met in the Netflix TV series, worship divine dragons. It is also believed that Jericania got its name from a colossal golden dragon, Jericanternment. Jericanternment burned the forest around Jericania, thus making it isolated from the world by deserts and wastelands. Now let us look into Baal Jebut. Baal Jebut, as previously mentioned, is a dark deity, and the cult of which originates in the east, in Harkland or in Jericania. While Baal Jebut is a god of moist and dark sky, it is believed that his polar opposite is Rarog, who is the fierce deity of fire and warm sky. According to the ballads, ages ago, the two fought over the dominance in the skies, Baal Jebut in the form of a female black dragon and Rarog in the form of a fiery phoenix. Getting more in-depth into the Jericanian dragon cults. The cult of the divine dragons is the only officially recognized state religion in Jericania. It comprises a pantheon of various ancient dragons. Now, as previously mentioned, the religion's foundation is a myth of Jericanternment, a legendary dragon who, after designating a population of a canyon to the south of the Fiery Mountains as his chosen people, reportedly burned down forests around the canyon to separate them from outside world with deserts and Himalayas. And at one point in the first half of the 13th century, a holy order was also formed, known as the Faithful, to protect dragons and spread the faith outside Jerichanian borders. While it is also believed that Tia and Via are somewhat related to this holy order. So dragons are believed to be the sole creators of the entire world and embodiments of its natural forces. And in addition to their dragon forms, divine dragons may take a form of an animal, person, or a weather phenomenon. The cult is centered around dragon temples, where both alive and dead dragons are hosted, and the temples are being managed by priestesses. So that is pretty much about the dragons in the Witcher universe, and I hope that you have got a good idea from this video. Please let me know in the comments if I have missed anything. So thank you for watching this video, drop a like, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. In the upcoming video, we will look into a supernatural horror movie that you probably might have missed, and it's on the Netflix. So stay tuned and see you again.